So hi guys, welcome to the next episodes of Fire Department New York. Now I'm going to make a slight change to the scheduling. I'm going to be doing the last video I thought was rather long. It came out in nearly an hour. So what I'm going to do is, at the time of filming, I'm not going to plan how many I'm going to do. I'm just going to see how many I get done. I'm aiming to do a pack in 3 or 4 weeks, depending on where I am. Once I get caught up. At the moment, I'm filming over a month in advance, so I've got about a month to catch up with. So I want to try and get a pack and a bit done, or get a pack done in 3 weeks. Obviously, once I've caught up, I'll be looking at how many stages there are in a pack and how many weeks there are in the month, and I'll be looking at spreading it out. But for while I'm doing catch up, I'm going to be aiming just to see how it goes. So at this present moment, I don't know how many episodes are going to be included, but as I progress, I'll keep an eye on the time, and we'll aim to make the videos a little bit shorter. So let's see how I get on. So we are beginning this video with stage 19, which is components for the dashboard and roof. It's quite a few parts, but I think we had an episode earlier where there were lots and lots of parts, but you know, it's quite easy to whiz through it. So obviously that sounds like I'm rushing, but one thing I will always say is do not rush. If I only get one stage done in this video, then that is all I get done, and I have no problems with that at all. So in no particular order, we have got the dashboard kit panel, and that's very nicely done. I think I've said that about just about every part. Even when I've had a criticism, I've not had much of a criticism. What springs to mind is that lamp, where I can just a little bit of paint and a little bit of gloss, and that's fine. So this is the dashboard. That is rather nice. I like that. Very happy with that. I'm sorry about the focus. I am trying so hard with the focus. Right, 2 E-type screws, and that is a new screw for us. So that's going to go into there, and I'm going to be a bit of a pain, and I'm going to label it now. What I do is, I've got these little pill pots, and then I just remove this label from the bag, and then I just pop it on there. It's a little bit of a boring thing for you to watch, but if I don't label it now, I could lose the bag or forget where the bag is, forget to do it, and yeah, whole heap of issues potentially. Right, so the next part, we have 2, and at the moment I don't know which is which. We'll see if we can identify them. I suspect I'll be able to by the colours of the wires. So we have got right, this one with lots of green in it is the horn turn signal PCB, and that's got 2. Doesn't seem to do much. Maybe that's the horn. Is that a tiny speaker there perhaps? But you see there's 2 PCBs there. And then we've got this one, which is a double-sized PCB. This is the headlights, emergency lights and siren PCB. So let's put that like that. I'm trying to arrange these roughly how they've arranged them in the instructions. So this piece here is, oh, there's a little tiny piece for like, that's the advantage of having a light coloured cutting board. So this is the steering column, and this is the circuit board cover, and then we have a few bits in one bag. Oh, let's put those down. Right, so this looks like a map light. which is obviously a light for reading the map. And it looks, no, that's a little bit of dust. That's okay, that's gone. Right, so then we have a GPS display, which looks like that's this. Doesn't seem to look like it's doing much. No detail or anything. This is a turn signal button. And these 4 red pieces are push button times 4. Do not know what they do. We will see though. Right, so we have got, I'm gonna just identify the parts that are easily identifiable, and then we can just call it, the rest just, no, this is roof component C. This is, I think this is the dashboard storage box. So that leaves a radio antenna and a roof component D. And I think this is the radio antenna. And I think that will be roof component D. But, as you can tell, all these pegs are different lengths. So we can't put the wrong bit in the wrong place. So that's not a problem. So first thing we need to do is to take the dashboard, and we take the dashboard kick plate, and there's 2 pegs there, and there's 2 holes there, and that's just going to push into there like so. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Right, so we push those pins in nice and easy. And then we have got, oh, this is interesting looking. So we need to turn this over and round, and we have 2 holes there. Can you see the 2 holes there? And what we need to do is take these buttons. This is going to be fun. So with our tweezers, we're going to take our buttons, and we are going to manipulate those into there. And oh, that's gone in. That has gone in, look. Can you see it there? And the next one wants to go next to it. That was a little bit easier than I thought it was going to be. Because you know me, guys. They make things idiot proof, and then I come along. Ah, this one is harder. There we go. So if I hold those in place with the tweezers, one's fallen out. Right, there we go. Right, so I'm not going to do that again until they're held in place. Hopefully there's something going in there. Right, so that's both buttons in. Right, so next we want to take our PCB, and that's what I call this double-sized one. And I can see that that's going to go into there like so. It's no positive. I'm just going to have a little look at the next stage. Right, okay, the reason it didn't go in is because it needs to go up on the bottom stroke top. It's looking like the top at the moment, but that doesn't look like it's going to stay there. That's interesting. Having said that, both of those buttons are making contact with that PCB. You can feel, when you press the buttons, you can feel a button going in. So with the dashboard facing you, oh God, note there is an opening to the right of the 2 push buttons. So there's an opening there. So you're gonna see me pressing these buttons a lot. See, now that doesn't make connection. Now it's sort of making a connection. I think this PCB needs to come down. Oh, that's all falling apart. I don't like that button there. don't like it. Right. Wow. So we need to take the horn signal PCB, insert the smaller circuit board with the blue. Oh, I'm going to have to turn this round. Right, so take the horn turn signal PCB, insert the smaller circuit board with the blue and yellow cables, that's this one there, through the opening from the reverse side, that's that one there. The larger circuit board with red and green cables should remain on the reverse side. Note the cables for the two boards can be separated by gently pulling them apart to allow for easier fitting. Then we want to pull the smaller circuit board through the opening, then put the assembly to one side while you assemble the steering column. I don't like this bit. I'm not liking this because it's all loose. This button isn't working as well as I want it to. That PCB's just fallen out and the buttons have fallen out, and this is obviously our tricky issue, isn't it? Every issue has a tricky issue, and this is obviously the one. Whew. Right, so yeah, see that button there doesn't seem to be connecting, but I'm going to put it aside while we do the steering column, because that might all then come together. So we need to take the signal, align the turn signal button, which is this one, with the steering column in the orientation shown. So that must be this way then. That's a lot of faff, isn't it? That will connect there like so. That is a lot of faff. Right, then, oh god, here we go. So this needs to come through, and this is going to go into there like so. Oh, I'm sorry guys, I cannot bring this up to the camera because I'm going to lose all the bits, but that small PCB is going to go in there so that when we press, I'm going to separate these wires. There we go. Right, I just don't want to lose those buttons. So that PCB is going in there, and I can see where the button is. So this little bit there that sticks out is going to act as a button, and that's got a positive connection, so that I'm happy with. That's one thing I am happy with. Whew. Right, carefully bend the cables downwards, which is this way, like so. And then we need to put the holding the cable in place, align the circuit board cover, which is going to go in this way. Wow, I really wish I could show you this in more detail. However, I'm just going to separate those two wires. We know the wires aren't going to be shown in the final model, so it doesn't matter, I don't think, if we... Right, okay, I can see that I've bent the wires the wrong way. That's why that cover didn't go on. So I need to bend it down this way. So gently. Right. So there's our wires in there. I think I might take those other buttons out. There we go, and that goes in there like so, and that's pushed that PCB in. We've still got a positive connection on there, which I'm happy with. Right, so now here we go. So there's the two buttons that have just fallen out, and I'm just going to go with that, I think. So let's see how this goes. So this is going to go into, God, this is hard work. Right, that's going to go in there. That can't go in there like that, can it? Yeah, that's not right. Alright, I think it's going to sit on there like that. Yes, because that is the steering wheel as well, isn't it? So that needs to go at an angle. So I don't think that's right though. There's a little cut out there. Something just fell off. There we go, my circuit board cover just fell off. This is definitely my awkward issue, isn't it? There's no doubt about it. Every part work has that issue, and I do think this is that issue. Right, so it's just figuring out where this, I think that needs to sort of half embed into the dashboard. No, it doesn't. I can't figure out where that's going to go. I think that's right, but I wonder if perhaps we should need to glue this in, this kick plate, because that's coming out. I think that's right, but I think we will figure it out once we finish more of this dashboard. Right, so from the reverse side of the dashboard, secure the steering column in place by driving a Type E screw into the raised screw hole, which is there. So I think maybe I have got the steering wheel in the correct place. I think that should go in the middle there. Come on, focus. Can you see it there? That's where the E-type screw is going to go. So although this is all fallen out, I think we can progress with that and then revisit that PCB. So this is a what are we calling these screws? Are we calling them top hat screws, or are we calling them washer screws? What name do you want to give these? Right, so just a couple of screws there just to get that in place. And then we can adjust this steering wheel. I want that screw in the middle. There we go. So that's the position I want that screw in. So once I've got that steering column in place, we can then screw that in. And I might have the wrong screw head for this. And I am keeping an eye on the time. And it looks like we might only get the one issue done. Looking at the time. Right, so see, I don't like that because that black panel at the back there is no longer visible. But it might be like that for a reason. So bear with me, guys. I'm just going to get a different screwdriver out. I don't think that's the right head. So I'm going to get the fire engine screwdriver out. Which is funny that they've given us a green screwdriver, haven't they, for a red fire truck. Do you think that's interesting? Right, that is loose. I'm not liking that. No, it's not. It's the kick plate that was loose, not the steering column. I can see if I hold it there, that is solid. So that's good. That's good. This can still come off. No, it can't, but it is loose. I'm now beginning to regret not super gluing that in, but the instructions didn't tell us to super glue it in, which is why I didn't. I'm just going to double check the instructions. Right. Oh, it did actually say to super glue it. Right, okay guys, so I'm going to have to undo that and super glue it. It's quite unstable. if it's not glued in place. So I do apologise guys, I'm so sorry. It's down to me not reading the instructions. So, bit of glue. But that will certainly stiffen that up, make it a bit more solid. And now all of a sudden it doesn't want to go in. There we go, that's in. So we'll give that a few seconds. Yeah, that's much more solid now. Right, so let's get that back in. At least we know what we're doing now though, don't we? Right, that circuit board cover's come off again. Well, it hasn't come off, it's starting to come off. So, yeah, this is definitely a that issue, isn't it? I wonder if there'll be any more issues like this. I quite like these issues actually. I do like where you have to really think hard about it. I am a little bit worried that it's going to catch those wires, especially with this being a washer screw. I'm going to call it a washer screw until you guys leave a comment telling me to call it something. You know me, we could call it a huge of a flip, and that's what I'd probably end up calling it. There we go. So yeah, that's solid. That's solid. Maybe that was half of the problem. Right, so now let's revisit this screw, these buttons. Actually, let's look at what we're doing next. So we need to put place the dashboard so that the reverse side is facing up, facing you, and the kick plate is uppermost, which it is. Using tweezers, align another push button with a hole below the circuit board. Oh god, no, we've just done that. What? Right, okay, so this is confusing now. So it's told us to put the buttons in there, which we have done. Actually, that button we're not going to access, are we? Look at that. I think some super glue is going to be required for this build, for this part. So we've got the steering wheel, we've got that button there, and that's a, oh, look at that. Push that button too much, it pushes the cover off. It's going to have to be applied with super glue. Right, but then can you see there's a button there? You're just not going to be able to access it. That button's in the way. Look. I think I'm going to have to make a little paddle so that you can reach in and press the buttons with the paddle. Right, so it's told us to put these buttons in, which we have done earlier on. Then it's told us to put the PCB in. Then it says with the panel facing towards us, identify this hole to the right of the two red buttons. Then when we get to step 20 is clearly shown the buttons there. And now we've put this screw in. Now place the dashboard so that the reverse side is facing you and the kick panel uppermost, which is that way, and I can see that this panel is in there, and that's now kind of held in place with the wires from the other circuit board. Oh, this isn't nice. So now it's telling us to put buttons in there. And now it's telling us to put the button in there. Right, okay. So let's try and get these buttons in, because I think that perhaps these buttons are being held in place with that other circuit board. There we go. So we now push this first circuit board in, but I still don't think. Do you know what? That's brilliant. No, it's not brilliant. So this button there is making a wonderful connection. This one isn't. It's making a sort of a connection. Oh, Penny's getting frustrated. See, it's making a kind of a connection. I don't know if this is a damaged circuit board, this wire's in the way, or something else. I'm going to have to take my glasses off so I can get a good close look. Yeah, it's the button. The button is not. I think the circuit board's not quite gone in enough. If I remember rightly, see, that bit's just fell off again. See, that's making a sort of a connection. I think it really depends on where the circuit board is, if it's not quite right. So this bit, I'm going to super glue this on, because you can see how much it falls off. It really doesn't make a good connection. So let's get some super glue. We'll super glue around there, trying not to put too much on, because we don't want squeeze out. Make sure this is the right way around. Right, so that circuit board I'm going with. Right, so now we need to put a button into there. And I'm looking at the time now and I'm thinking this is actually going to be the only one I do with this. Right, so next, once we've got that button in, we want to put this other circuit board in, which is this one. And if I just pull that back, you can see now there's a button there. So that wants to go facing down, and that wants to go in there. And I'm going to tuck the wire underneath there. So now it's telling us to super glue this in, but I want to do a test fit first. So let's just manipulate that wire a little bit without trying to damage it. Right, so that wire is just right, and that's gone in nice and stiff. So, but that button's not connecting. It's not working. It is working, but it's really not fantastic. It's not really positive. So the question I have now is, with that being in there so stiff, what would happen if I didn't glue it in? Right, I'm looking for some more blunt tweezers, because I want to push that wire in a bit more. In my experience, if you're not getting a positive, yeah, there's a little bit of a bend. Really, this part needs to come across a bit more to support the back of that PCB. Yeah, look, if I push the PCB down and push the button, it's a lot more positive. But there is now at least a semi-positive connection there, so I'm happy to go with that. So let's check this. Oh, that's really good. Now this just moved, which worries me, so I'm just going to tighten that screw a little bit. I don't know if the whole thing is slipped or if I hadn't done the screw up enough in the first place. That's a lot better. That's much better. No, that's quite loose. Yeah, right. I don't want to over tighten this. I'm not going to go any tighter on that. Too scared to. That's okay. But that button's still working. I don't like those tweezers. Now that one's gone less positive. Yeah, it's this PCB. The PCB slips a little bit. Yeah, see, now that's more positive than this one. But that definitely works. And this one is no longer working. Yeah, it is working, but you can't feel a click so much. It's not so positive. So, yeah. Right, okay, so hold the dashboard the right way up and facing you. Then align the map light in the orientation shown. It looks like it's going this. That can't be right. That can't be right. Yes, it's this way. So it's pointing towards you. And you're looking for a little plug there. And I can see that this is shaped. And that's going to go in like so. Press the notch end firmly to the hole to the right of the black. To the right of the two black pre-fitted dashboard controls. Right, push firmly to fit. Align the lugs on the GPS display with a pair of holes, and I can see that one hole is a little bit bigger, and that's going to go round about there. So that's going to go in like so, and I can now see where the detail is. See, there is a little bit of detail. So maybe we could paint that silver and then paint a little bit of clear green over the top to give it a little bit of life. You know, these are all ideas for modding, just to add a little bit of, I mean, there's quite a lot of pizzazz on there anyway. Right, so the next up, this shows how the dashboards should look. And I can confirm that my dashboard looks something like the magazine, which is a good sign. So next up, fit the lugs on the dashboard storage box, which is this one, and that's going to go in these two holes here, and that's just going to push into there like so. The two lugs are different sizes. It's a little bit loose, but I'm not going to super glue it because it's not something that you're going to be pulling around a lot. And that is that. Now, stage 32, we need to go back to our roof, our cab roof. And I can see that there are, where are we? Here we are, this way round. I can tell that from the lights. So we have another detail to put in, which is this one, and again we have one lug larger than the other, and that's going to go in there, which is going to match this one, and that is it. So the question I have, guys, are you doing this build? I've got a spare button. It doesn't say that it's spare. but then it hasn't been telling us that the screws are spare, and it's looking like, as you can see here, we've got lots of spare screws, or we've got, I mean, these J's, that's too many spares, so we must be getting something that's going to use them later on. But it just says push button times 4, but going through the instructions I can clearly see we only need 3. So I am going to keep it, and I think, how many screws do we have? N. Right, so this is all the screw pots I'm going to need. So I'm going to put this into the last pot there. So guys, if I ever say in a future video that I cannot find it, you can all jump into the comment section and say you put it in the spare pot. So I'm going to bag this up, and I'm going to bag this up. So my attempt at doing 2 issues has failed. That was extremely fiddly. I don't mind admitting that. I'm struggling with these PCBs. These buttons aren't working that well unless you actually push the... You know, I like to test everything, but see this button there, it's really not that positive. It is working, you know, you can get movement on it. In fact, now it's not working. Now, a little while ago that button was better than this one. This one works fine. This one is working okay. It's a bit stiff, but it seems the more you press this, the more pressure it puts on those covers. I'm now worried that this cover is going to come off. If that cover pops off, then we're going to have a hard time getting that back on. But this PCB, see this one we're supposed to glue it in, and I haven't glued it, and it's fine. Now it's not fine. Yeah, see, that works. But these two, these are my concerning ones. I think if you hold... Yeah, see, now that I'm pushing on this corner there, it's brilliant. It's fantastic. And this one works okay. If I push in the middle, that one's working. If I now push on this side, this one, I don't know, it's just... So now it looks like those buttons have fallen out. I don't know what to say about these guys. I'm not got no confidence that these are going to work. See, there's a little white post in there that's going to stop this PCB from coming up at the other end. I think we need to push in and down. Ah, see, now that. Cracked it. So, you need to push. I think that button's fallen out, because it just worked a second ago. Right. I'm really not sure, guys. I'm tempted to say it's the position of this PCB, and I'd like to think that when this is complete there'll be something holding. I'm just going to check the instructions. Does it tell us to glue it in and I've missed it? Insert the PCB with a contact pin point facing down towards the push buttons. Press the PCB firmly. Right. I missed the gluing. Right. Okay. So that explains a lot. So when I've been pushing that way, the PCB's been working fine. So maybe I've missed something out, you know, maybe I it's because of that. It's just, I'm finding it interesting that sometimes I'll put the PCB in and it works fine, and other times it doesn't, and I think this is my answer. So a little bit of glue against the ledge, and this is now where it becomes dangerous, because once that's glued in, that's not coming out. So I'm going to push that in down as far as I can while pushing up, and that's stuck. That is now too late to change our mind. Bingo, absolutely fantastic. Click, click. So I'm going to glue, do I glue this in? See, that PCB's not moving, but as I keep saying, this button does work. You just don't get such a positive connection, but this is now fantastic. That is brilliant. Right guys, so I am now happy with this issue. Unfortunately, I've only been able to do one issue. I was trying to get as many issues out as I can to sort of speed things up. I think I have to completely change the plan, and then just say, look, I'm going to do as much as I can given the time that I've got. This is now going on for 40 minutes. So yeah, I'm going to call it a day on this issue. Excuse me. So next issue, at least we know we're going to be doing stage 20, jump seat, cab equipment and front left light cluster. That looks quite simple, but I'm not going to promise you any more than one issue. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed me making a hash of this, but look at what we've got. That's rather nice. So I'll catch you in the next issue, guys. Take care then. Bye bye.